We immediately lost you, Bloop. 1 second.
Oh, yeah. Push to talk. Hi, everybody.
I was like, oh no. Got quiet.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome to another episode of our Cunning Action stream set in the Ebon-clad setting. Joining me again, as always, is our talented streamer role players. We've got Bigfoot playing as Rexit Redhands, Anders playing as Evan Lannon, Nuva as Glinfir Cithrin, and Cole playing Taya Cornago. For our game this evening, our normal fifth star, playing as Juniper Hillstride, will be stepping out tonight. She will be back with us next time we play.
Miss you, Lindsay, whenever you see this.
If you see this.
If you see this.
So, last time we played, the lot of you managed to successfully make a switch of a ceremonial sword with a duplicate faux sword, and you all were given some accolades, and naturally, you've had a little bit of time off between some of your missions here. Everyone watching, stay tuned, because we'll probably be coordinating some side streams or side stories to kind of cover what our characters go through in the downtime. But for now, we're skipping right ahead. And the lot of you, the four of you, I should say, find yourselves back at a familiar location. Yes, of course, I'm talking about the Drag Inn, the front that is run and operated by your guild operative Face, who is the big burly red dragonborn innkeeper, Cinder-Scarred Drogo-Smarch. The group of you are in the establishment. It is afternoon, not really early, not really late. The time of day doesn't really pay much bearing on you today because the weather's not great, actually. Outside, you can hear the sound of rain and thunder as the weather has turned sour, and the sheets of rain hailing down from the sky pelts across the thin glass windows of the Drag Inn, making kind of a raucous sound as it pitter-patters against the siding. Of course, my cat's being annoying. Of course, the lighting outside is also muted due to the cloud cover. So even though it's midday, it feels almost like it's closer to evening time. It's been raining most of the day at this point, and you each received a missive from Cinder-Scarred calling you back to the Drag Inn for another briefing. And here you are. The inn is packed full of people this time today, just crowded, stuffed to the gills, with all sorts of people wearing their traveling gear, huddled under moisture-laden cloaks, woolen coveralls and things of that nature, trying to keep warm and dry in the current inclement weather. There's a little bit of a fire roaring in the fireplace along the far wall, and mostly at this point, the usual din of the crowd in the Drag Inn is actually harder to pick up over the sound of the rain that is just mercilessly beating down over the city of Kintala. So in between that noise, you hear the muffled noises of the usual patrons, but for the most part, people are actually struggling to hold decent conversation without having to speak up.
I have a quick question. I want to know how my prank went against Evan last time.
Did you tie my shoelaces together?
No, while you were passed
That's
out
what
at
you
the
did to
bar,
me.
I used my, I think it was my sword to weaken one of your chair legs so it could crack and tip you over at some point while you were asleep on it.
Okay.
I just want to know if the
Dungeon Master,
prank
how'd I do?
succeeded.
Why don't you go ahead and make a... I want you to make an athletics check for me, Evan.
Oh, athletics. Athletics is strength-based. That would be an 8.
So apparently you're a pretty heavy sleeper. Literally.
Yeah. Fair.
Are you okay?
My chair just... Oh, I'm going back to bed. I'm just gonna lay down on the next chair next to me after that.
So,
Yeah.
there's a chair with an obviously sabotaged leg laying in the middle of the walkway in the middle of the inn at this point.
I'm in a different chair now. It wasn't me.
The lot of you, obviously, Evan is still keeping to his chair and sleeping off, I'm sure, whatever you got into the night before. What are the rest of you doing?
Well, Rexit went shopping and he found himself a new pair of gloves.
Is Rexit fiddling with his gloves in the middle of the inn?
Considering he was probably not wearing gloves beforehand, he's probably, like, trying to get them to fit, be like, these feel weird.
Glinfir would be coming back from his forest training session, and first thing he'd be doing once he entered the bar is like glance around, see if he can find any damaged-looking chairs. And when he sees it, just a little smirk to himself, goes to sit down near Evan.
I feel like Evan and Taya are probably sitting together. We hung out during our break time.
Yeah, I would have helped Evan up into another chair next to me. Do you feel like that chair should not have broken? I mean, you're not very heavy.
I feel like it needs to stop with the really loud thunder, because otherwise this headache's never gonna go away. I don't know. I'm not a carpenter. I don't know how chairs work. I just sit on them.
Presumably they hold people up, Glinfir says as he sits down across from you.
Yeah, in my experience, most of the time they do their job, so...
I haven't seen you in a few days. Where were you?
Training.
Sounds like...
He brushes his shoulder and you see a couple clumps of very wet plastered leaves come off of him.
It sounds like we were doing the same sort of fun activity. Training. I mean,
Has
training.
anyone seen Rexit?
Yeah, I just saw him.
He's probably sitting under a table, because chairs are for weirdos.
I feel like every time I see him, he disappears again.
I don't know what you're talking about. I can always find him. He's super easy to spot.
Funny.
Isn't it?
Is that with your eyes open or closed?
Does it matter?
It was never mind.
Glinfir gives a small chuckle.
Thank you.
There's some like awkward vibe going on right now. I don't know if the rest of y'all are picking up on this. That we should like, I don't know, meet up during our off time because this is a little uncomfortable. Not
feel like-
that we need to be workplace friends, but
Oh no, I'd like to be. I mean, if we're gonna be working together, I think that makes sense.
Should try and get to know each other a little bit if we're going to be doing similar jobs as we have been for the past, I don't know how long it's been. It's been like a week in the game, 2 weeks since we did our first one.
Yeah, I'd say you've probably done the 2 jobs in the span of like maybe a week, and you did some other missions maybe in the past, but you have really been working together more frequently the last week or so.
Okay.
Yeah, if this is going to be kind of the usual group, I think getting to know each other will only make us work better together.
Evan burps really loud and gross-like in response to that.
Glinfir throws a crumb of something that was on the table at your mouth when you burp.
And Rexit gives the burp a thumbs up.
And Taya will pat Evan's shoulder gently.
Ah. Stop. Where's the
So we
short
should-
one?
I don't know. I haven't seen her, but we should probably find out what
I'm
the mission
pretty
entails.
Sure that she's away on other business.
How do you know that?
Don't worry about it.
No, I'm gonna fixate on that now for the rest of this mission.
Okay.
Yeah. We should talk to the red guy, the big guy, boss man.
Do we see him? Cinderscard?
Yeah, I'm assuming he's gonna be a bit busy with all the extra patrons
Yeah.
around.
There's a lot of people.
You take a moment to look around the room for him, and kind of through the throngs of huddled people, you see him working behind the bar, a lot busier than he normally is at this time of day, and probably the busiest you've seen him since you've started working together. And that's saying something because you're here pretty much every day to at least check in. But after some time of him kind of moseying through, dropping off drinks, taking orders, and kind of cleaning up after people, he does find the time to sidle his way over to your table. And as he traipses across the floor, he comes to stop in front of the broken chair. Huh? Well, what's this? Did one of you break my chairs?
I mean, not on purpose. He was just sitting in it and it broke.
Glinfir is saying nothing and studiously. What should I be doing? Studiously looking at the Dragonborn.
Yeah, boss man, you need better chairs. Or just maybe not that chair. Could have killed me. I could have sued you for a
Little bit of smoke starts trailing up out of his nose.
Okay, he looks a little bit cooler and more collected. He's not sweating or anything.
You're keeping your cool, Glinfir.
Yeah.
He leans down and he starts to inspect the chair real quick.
Boss man, it smells like something's burning. You making pies or something?
Rexit gives him a wave hello when he gets down to his eye level.
Oh, jeez. He picks the chair up after kind of examining it with a cursory glance, and he sets it on its 3 legs on the ground, and he kind of jostles it back and forth. Says, "Yeah, I guess this one was pretty wobbly. I mean, look at it. It's a piece of crap." And he picks it up with both hands, and he pulls the other 3 legs out of it, and he sets it down on the floor so that the seat section is just laying bare on the plank floor. And he leans down under the table and he says, "Hey, you, Rexit, I made you a special chair."
Woo! And he will steal the special chair.
I'm gonna just kind of lean over to Taya's ear, and in Infernal, I'm just gonna whisper, "That was really hot."
I imagine Rexit just now has a high chair with no like high chair legs, and he's just sitting in it like, yeah.
It's on the floor.
Pretty much. Cinderscard takes the legs that he pulled off of the chair and the broken piece off of the ground and scoops it up and just kind of pulls it apart, breaks it like kindling, and throws it into the fireplace. Well, that's one way to solve a problem with a broken chair. Burn it. And a bunch of smoke shoots out of his nose again. As he turns back, he pulls up another chair, turns it backwards, and sits on it in his usual fashion. And he regards the lot of you and just says, "Well, I'm glad you're all here, as usual. Although..."
Yeah, we're not all here. This one knows where that one is. You could ask her.
Which one of you is missing? Oh, the short one, right. What does she do?
I don't know.
She does a lot of disguises. She's very good at it.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah. Well, that is what it is. Well, at least I have 4 of you. This might make things a little more difficult.
It's always so nice to hear that from you, sir.
Well, you are the most talented team I've seen come through these doors in quite a while, so I suppose you should still be able to handle it?
We're a pretty good team, so.
Oh, hey, wait a minute. Don't go inflating your ego. I said you're... Alright, yeah, you're pretty good, but whatever. We'll see what happens here, huh? So, new job. He leans in, and the thunder cracks overhead, and the lightning, for a brief moment, lights up the room, and everybody just goes suddenly quiet. He stops, looks around. Ah, crap. Do you guys mind hanging out for a little bit until this rain calms down? I don't feel like shouting our business.
I do not mind at all.
We can wait.
All right.
A round
Ew.
of drinks would be appreciated while we wait, though.
Naturally, I'll make it a double for this one, as he points to Evan.
Do you have coffee or tea or something just not alcoholic?
Water.
Water's not very... strong, just not alcoholic.
Yeah, we got a shipment from the herbal gentleman the other day. Just let me go back and see what teas we have in stock.
I know, shocking, but appreciated.
Cider for me, as per usual.
I'll have what Glinfir's having.
He leans under the table. Yo, trash guy, anything for you?
House mead.
Do you want it in a dirty cup or a clean one?
Ooh, let's try a dirty one.
I'm gonna...
He turns around and grabs a dirty glass off of the table behind him. Coming right up.
I'm gonna take the mug that I do have of ale and I'm just gonna like stick it under the table.
And Rexit's little grabby green hands will appear and grab it.
Yeah. There you go, little friend.
I love how Rexit is basically like the group dog. Just throw it under the table, it will find its home.
Oh, I forgot to ask. Has Rexit's hat joined us, and how is it reacting to this inclement weather?
Yes, how's the
It is
hat doing?
probably hiding under the table with him. So when Glinfir or somebody else hands Rexit something, it'll be a different pair of hands that grabs it.
Okay.
Rexit, can you make me an animal handling check, please? Okay. Your hat is tentatively skittish, but you're still able to maintain a pretty good handle on it, given the fact that you're giving it a steady stream of food and attention. After probably another 30 minutes or so, the intensity of the storm does die down, and a lot of the background noise turns into a very soft pattering against the shingled roof of the building, and you find it easier for the lot of you to talk to each other without having to strain your voices as much. And as it's gotten a little less lightning-y outside, a lot of the patrons have moved on from taking shelter in the drag in there with you, and it's turning back into more of the dead crowd that you're usually used to experiencing here. And it's at that point that Cinderscard comes back, pulls up his chair again, and releases a heavy sigh as he takes his seat at the table with you.
Not used to being busy, huh?
I tell you, if I knew retirement was going to be this busy, I wouldn't have done it.
You should hire somebody. Some little, I don't know, worker, waitress, something to make your life easier.
That's an idea. Help you out.
And then I gotta have to get a private room for us to discuss business. Where's the sense of that?
Don't you already have a private room for discussing business?
He looks around. It's a single-room establishment.
Well,
What building have you been in?
oh no, sorry, that was the other group's bar. They have a
Are you-
bar.
Are you drunk right now?
No, that's
What
the-
gave it away? The
that's what
usual temperament?
Hey.
Rexit will poke Cinderscar's knee and just be like, "What about the cellar?"
Well, that's where we keep all the food and drink, my little friend. I can't just have, well, you down there, now can we?
Rexit just shrugs.
I've slept in worse places.
Well, at any rate, we'll just get back to business here, I guess. I appreciate you all meeting me again here. He starts kind of doing the usual beating around the bush in Ebon-Cant, which, for those of you unfamiliar, Ebon-Cant is an even more convoluted thieves' cant. It's the thieves' cant used specifically by the members of the Ebon-Clad Guild. Seemingly speaking in circles to anyone who would be listening who's not part of the usual crowd, Cinderscard goes into the details of the job. We've got a little bit of an issue. We need the four of you to get out into the field and pluck someone from the shackles of the Cantalan Guard.
Did you say pluck? said pluck, right?
Somebody got captured outside of the city.
Yeah. It's not a member of the guild, so there's no personal strings attached to this. But we were hoping we might be able to spring this folk from their sticky situation. Maybe, see if we can earn some favors with them.
Are they in prison or on their way to prison or just like handcuffed to a tree somewhere?
So word on the street. Well, if you keep your ears to the ground, you can hear pretty much anything. Some of our operatives learned that a pretty infamous spy, or broker of information, I suppose you could say in a more tactful way, was nicked in the southern province just a few weeks back. Arrested by some of the local color.
What province?
I just told you, it came from the south. I don't know. I don't keep track of that kind of stuff right now.
I mean, South's pretty big. Okay, yeah, South.
That's not the important part. This is a couple weeks ago. News spread, and they sent an envoy to the Kintalan guard captain. Seems that this particular individual has earned a nice cozy cell at the Skullhold. Now don't worry, he ain't there yet. We know that they're transporting him with a small contingent of guard along the southern road. Our hopes is that we might be able to intercept it, spring him, and help him escape. That's where we go.
Details on the size of the guard patrol that he's being escorted by.
Yeah. From what we gather, most guard patrols are typically a guard captain and about 4 to 5 guards towing behind them. Now, for this particular guy, I imagine they didn't spare any expense sending out some people to watch the caravan. So I'd expect that you can probably look for about that much, maybe a little bit more along the way down, but realistically, our hopes is that you'll be able to locate their caravan, bringing them up, maybe sneak in nice and easy, and spring them loose before they might even notice you.
Coming up you said South Province, so they're on the South Way probably? North.
Yeah, they should be heading up from the southern road. I believe we call that the South Way.
Yeah.
How far out were they last you checked or heard?
The caravan itself left the other week, so it'll be closing back in on the city probably in the next day or two. So if you guys are able to ride down south, you might be able to intercept them along the road.
Are you giving us horses?
Naturally. Consider them loners. You can't keep them.
What if they die?
Then we're docking your pay.
Do you have anything smaller than a horse? Horses are scary.
What's more your speed? A mule?
Could ride a dog.
We could probably pull a dog for you. Maybe something that matches your face.
Big dog.
Yes, I would like.
You can always ride double saddle with someone. The weight wouldn't be noticed.
It's more the smell you gotta worry about.
You can always stick them with Evan, and it'll be 2 peas in a pod.
A tiny gout of smoke comes out of his nose as he snorts, laughing derisively.
That's fair. And yeah.
Well, here's the thing, kids. Your last job went so well, you made a big splash, so consider this your promotion.
Does that mean we earn more when we're done?
Well, that depends on the manner of your completion, now doesn't it?
So let me just throw out a scenario for you, boss man. If we kill everyone and some of the horses die, but the dude's okay, we don't earn as much, do we?
Well, do you know how expensive horses are?
What if the horses are okay, but we still kill everyone but the dude? Is that okay?
Hey, that's fine. However you want to do it, but just don't go getting yourselves killed.
Yeah. Horses are probably worth more than we are at this point.
That's true.
Sounds good to me. Any of you guys have any other questions?
I don't think so.
Glinfir
Sounds
shakes
pretty
his head. It doesn't say he's shaking his head.
Glenfir,
Just-
you got any questions?
I'm fine.
Just follow the road south. That's probably your best bet. If you don't have any other questions, I'll be on my way. He stands up, turns the chair, pushes it back, and starts walking around the floor again.
Nudge Taya one more time in an infernal say. So he's like, how tall is he? Is he like 7 foot, 8 foot? Just a big man.
How tall is Cinderscard?
That is a great question. Let me find out.
I feel like we were told this when we first met him, but I don't remember.
I actually don't have my notes
Would I
from the
have
first
written down his
session.
height? I mean, Evan wouldn't know, but maybe Anders was a good player and wrote it down.
I probably
Unlikely,
wrote it down.
but I did not write it down. If you did say.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and say he's like 7.5 feet tall. Someone write that down.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to write that down. Yeah.
In case it comes up again.
I'll respond back in Infernal. He looks like he's about 7 feet, give or take.
Is he
A little
like
bit taller than that.
big muscles or like big belly? I just you never really. What is he?
Glinfir is
he-
gonna look over to you two and say, well, it sounds like we don't have much time. Would you guys rather stay here and chat at the bar or get going before we're too late?
Let's be real quick. It's very important.
5 seconds.
Is Cinderscard a lean dragonborn? Chubby? What is he?
Is he muscular?
Oh, he's muscular. He's been a busy man his life.
I relay that to Evan.
He might be retired, but he's still cut for a dragonborn.
He looks pretty strong, honestly.
Nice. Okay. It just thanks.
Oh, you have interesting taste. I'll let you have it, I guess.
Okay, we're done. We're done. Sorry about that. Real important business had to be taken care of.
I'm insight checking that real important business.
If you're trying to keep it a secret, go ahead and roll an opposed roll.
What is
I don't think it's gonna help.
Would
Yeah.
this be deception?
Yeah.
You're fucking.
Wow.
Let's waste our nat 20s on that.
Spectacular.
Oh my god! What? No!
That was beautiful.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's real important. This is exactly what it was. It was super important.
Let's get going before we miss everything.
Couldn't look any more disappointed, could you?
No. Not
Boy,
if I
oh
tried.
boy.
I take Evan by the arm.
Excuse me. I'm gonna pull out my new stick that I bought during our off time. And I got this. Try to lead the group out of the bar using my stick.
Oh, I forgot that you bought that.
Yeah, that's real good for hitting people.
Noted. Alright.
Evan, go ahead and roll me a dex check real quick.
Okay.
Oh no.
But I've been in this bar many, many times, so I feel like
You
I
have
would-
advantage on this between your stick and your what's-its. Okay, cool. You're able to successfully poke around with your stick without getting it caught on anything. You're still kind of getting a feel for how to use it, but you're off to a really good start.
I mean, it is also mostly fake. I'm not really using it, but nobody else needs to know that.
Well, now everyone does.
But that would be metagaming, DM. So actually,
Correct. Okay, so you've got a little bit of a timetable here. I don't know what gear you all came equipped with, but if you're heading out, as you stride across the floor, Cinderscard gives a dismissive wave. Says, "Thanks for coming back again. Hope
Always
I
a
don't
pleasure to
see you again."
Oh, we'll be back, no worries.
Evan burps.
He grumbles and goes back to cleaning dishes and glasses behind the bar. You open the door, and there is a steady light rain going on right now. It's still overcast. It's a little cool, not uncomfortably cold, but the dampness and the rain certainly doesn't help with your comfort levels outside.
At this point, Rexit's hat has probably become a hunch on Rexit's back, so he's hiding.
That's fair. So you have a raccoon-shaped backpack at this point.
It's probably hiding in his shirt, but I mean, close enough. Maybe it just makes Riley is.
So
Could
is
you
everybody good to
Sorry.
go? Oh, sorry.
No, we're good. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything from Rexit, because you cut out for a second there.
Oh yeah, nope, just flavor.
Well, we like flavor, but if you feel silly repeating it, that's fine.
No. I just said the raccoon is hiding in his shirt, like giving him a hunchback, so he might look. He is.
Gotcha. Cool. All right, sorry, Taya. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask if the group is everybody good to go? Does anyone have to go get their things?
I mean, Glinfir would dip back to his place to grab his pack with bedroll, extra rope, resupply, and darts, all that good stuff.
Evan, did we bring our stuff?
I've got everything except for my new jacket because that's my circus coat, and I don't bring that on missions. But I do have my new cane. I'm just walking, head facing the sky, because there's nothing better at sobering you up than rain on your face.
Is that true?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I wouldn't know, but yay.
In his mind, this is great. He's okay with it. Is it cold rain? Is it like cold or
it's
like?
it's cool enough. Cool in conjunction with the air makes it feel cool. It's humid, but it's that kind of clammy humid. It's not terribly cozy. Nothing that you really want to be traveling in, but only people with very important business would be tending to in weather like this.
Take my scarf off, because otherwise it's just going to be a water-logged, choking hazard. Put it in my pack. Then I'm good.
I also have.
Shoot. Forgot to ask.
What's that?
Glenn, me out of character, I forgot to ask how we're expected to smuggle him back inside, since I'm assuming all the guards would know what he looks like. But we'll figure that out later.
We're all proficient in disguise kits.
No.
Oh, our resident disguise. Well, Rexit's proficient in it.
I'm proficient in a disguise kit.
All right, we're good.
You're all really good at tricking people. Let's just go with that.
That's true.
Sure.
Most
Yes.
of us.
Even Glinfir, he's super good at lying and deceiving people, right?
Definitely.
As you head out of the Drag Inn, you were given the intersection where you will be able to pick up your horses to use for the trip. There's a small stable on the outskirts of the section where you guys typically are operating out of. Maybe but like a few blocks away from the Watcher's Grove. Kind of in that area.
Okay.
It's one of a few locations throughout the city where you know that the guild keeps horses or other supplies of that nature for jobs that require people to go out on the roads. Typically, they don't like to loan things out, but like Cinderscard said, you guys made a splash with your last job, so it looks like you're finding more resources available to you at this point.
Yeah.
The streets are not really bustling with people, if you could imagine. The steady drizzle of rain is keeping a lot of people either indoors or huddled under awnings of buildings or just kind of covered and tucked in alleyways and things like that. There's still guard patrols slowly meandering their way in and amongst the different streetways, but even those are more infrequent given the length and steadiness of the rain the last day. The air around you is still choked with moisture, and you find your trip pretty easy, nondescript, no real issues, just wet and boring.
Do our horses have names? This is very important.
Of course they do. Evan, your horse's name is Oats. He likes oats a lot.
Okay.
He's oat-colored and has some mottled brown striping on him that almost makes him look like he's cobbled together from oats.
I have no idea about this, but cool.
I think my
You
horse's name should
smell
be...
the oats.
Yeah.
What?
I think my horse's name should be Hall. Like Hall and Oates.
Ha.
I have a feeling
You're-
a lot of people wouldn't get that joke, but I like it.
Your horse's name is actually Allie. Not Hall. But there's no one stopping you from calling it that.
Okay.
But your horse's name is Allie, and it's a dark gray colored horse. Ooh. And Glinfir, your horse's name is Moonbeam.
Oh, that's so pretty. These horses have to live now because they have
Yes.
names. That is why I want
That's fair.
because now they have to live.
Mistakes were made. We named things.
Moonbeam is a horse with a luxurious golden mane, but a curiously jet black body. How is that possible? I don't know, but here we are.
The marvel of fantasy genetics.
Oh my god.
You have
And-
a magic horse.
Rexit, I don't know how they managed to pull this off, but they trot out a massive bulldog that is just the right size for you.
We're keeping
It has the same facial structure as you. It smells similarly to you. And it sits down in front of you, and as it does so, it lets out the longest, most obnoxious dog fart you've ever heard.
Hey, Rexit. Wait.
Best friend.
I cannot tell the difference. Which one is our Rexit and which one is the temporary loaned Rexit?
Rexit will just like swap places with the dog. I'm the dog. I'm not a dog. I'm a dog. I'm not a dog.
Honestly.
I was gonna say my first thought was, depending on how long this rain holds up, it's probably a record for the longest bath Rexit's ever had.
The dog's name is Mulligan.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
We're keeping the dog. They let us keep Rexit, we can keep the dog.
You make it sound like Rexit has no choice in the matter.
I'm sure Hat is not happy with the dog.
That's a great point.
Ooh.
The dog is growling and snapping at Rexit and his hunchback raccoon lump. Mulligan kind of gets up, arches his back, and you can kind of see his hackles coming up as he's a bunch of nasty spit just kind of starts falling out of the loose, hanging, wobbly jaws that are on his face as he starts kind of growling more and more angrily at the tiny green mirror image of himself.
Rexit will just go, no, and then he'll pat down his like pocketed vest and like pull out like, I think this was dinner 2-3 days ago, and just give the dog like a piece of meat.
Make an animal handling check. And, rotten meat. What exactly are you giving him? I know you said it's a couple days old, but this is very important to me.
On a whim, I don't know what's Cinderscard serving. Probably chicken. It's probably a drumstick.
Couple day old drumstick, huh?
Don't kill the dog.
Constitution saving throw for the dog.
Just met the dog.
Well, the dog snaps it up and is graciously gnawing on the bone and ignoring most of the meat that's attached to it. But he seems very content to have the vessel on which the meat is attached. And instantly changes his demeanor and sidles up next to you with the bone in mouth, kind of giving you a couple of stinky, slobbery kisses.
Best mount ever.
He does have a tiny little dog-sized saddle, because that's what he's there for.
Yeah.
I nudge Taya in Infernal, and I say, maybe we should get some bones just to have for if Rexit's ever, needs something, like a distraction or something. We should just have some bones on hand.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea.
I look over to Evan and I say, "How well do you ride?"
It's been a while, but I'm okay with animals. We have animals at our circus. I don't have horses, but I've ridden a horse.
How far have you ridden a horse before?
I mean, I used to travel with a circus that traveled so far. But it's been a while. That was over 10 years ago. But I never fell off then, so we should be fine. I could see then, but you don't really have to look. The horse just kind of follows the horse in front of it, so we should be good. It should be fine.
Evan doesn't see this, but Taya would see Glinfir give a somewhat devilish grin to that answer. Well, we should be heading out then.
Cool.
The stable hand, who's been trotting the horses out and making sure you guys have all the tack and harness you need, also brings out some supplies for the horses as well. Some food that should keep for a couple days. And kind of throws it on the back of each horse, says, well, this should be a good lot of food for the next couple of days. Just make sure not to push these horses too hard. They're prone to breaking, these creatures, you know. He gives a pat on the rump of one of them. And be sure to give old Mulligan here a break. He's a nice lazy dog. I don't even know why we decided to saddle him on up.
We will absolutely take good care of your horses, horseman.
Yeah,
I have a name, you know.
I am gonna call you horseman whether I know your name or not. So.
You're a mighty rude fella now, aren't you?
Yeah.
But that's okay. I don't need to talk to you anymore. And with that, he turns and walks away.
That went well. I'm good at making friends.
You're very charming, Evan.
Give me 1 second.
Oh no. That can't be good.
Just rolling a saving throw. Hold on.
What are you rolling saving throws for?
Glinfir lets loose a somewhat squashed laugh when you say that. He can't quite stop himself, so it's like a...
We're going to go ahead and take a quick 5-minute break, and then we'll be back at like 9:10ish. Or 8:10ish. What time is it? I don't even know. We'll be back in 5-ish minutes. Thanks, everyone, for holding in there. We decided to take a couple extra moments, but we appreciate you sticking with us through the short break. So, the lot of you have your mounts in tow now. Evan, you have the trusty steed Oats. Taya, you have your dusky and mysterious horse Allie. And Glinfir, you have the beautiful and awe-inspiring Moonbeam under you. And of course, Rexit is riding his doppelganger, the
Oh.
trusty.
Just like to give a small retcon. When Glinfir first saw which horse he was getting, he muttered to himself, "This just encourages the stereotype of elves and their magical horses."
Oh.
Stable hand doesn't know anything about that. Sorry, horse guy horseman doesn't know anything about that. He just doled them out as they were, first come, first serve. But you are at the stables, not far from the dragon. It'll take a little bit of time to kind of mosey your way through the city, but given the weather and the current traffic patterns, you shouldn't have too much of an issue navigating.
No backup on the 405 or anything like that in the rain.
Yeah, we got not a big cluster in the promenade and anything like that.
Yeah.
No, but you might have to watch out for ducks crossing the street.
Okay.
Aw, ducks.
That's where Rexit has a problem, because him and the bulldog just go off chasing ducks.
No.
Hey, Glinfir.
Yes.
How's your unicorn?
Are there any pebbles on the street near me? Decent sized.
Of course.
Okay, I'm gonna pocket a few.
We're just going to assume that you have a steady source of pebbles on hand at this point.
Yes. For the remainder of this session, Glinfir has a lot of pebbles in his saddlebag.
Just make sure not to feed them to the horse.
Oh, don't worry.
He's gonna feed them to me.
He knows what purpose they have.
You guys are my favorite.
I don't regret it. I don't regret it.
You're moseying through the street on your trusty steeds, trying to avoid whatever things get in your way there. Like I said, there's not much that's getting in your way. And after... horses walk at a reasonable pace, so you're able to get through the city without really taking too long. You start closing in to the slums. And as you get... Wow, that's absolutely perfect. As you start moving your way into the slum district, you see a haggard-looking man with a long, scraggly beard, balding head. He's just head to toe in tattered burlap clothing, and he has a shredded, tattered woolen sheet over him as he's sitting on the side of the road with a small, rusty pan full of both coin and water as he's calling out, "Do you have money for a poor beggar? Anyone? You, on the fancy horses, money for a poor beggar?"
I dropped 5 gold pieces. Instantly.
You said gold pieces?
I did say
You just immediately made that man's day.
I gave him 5 gold pieces.
He looks at the money you dropped in, looks back up to you. "Bless your heart, sir. This is more money than I've seen in my whole life.
Get out of the rain,
Do you
Grandpa. You don't want to get sick.
Do you have any more?"
That's all I can spare today, but go get yourself a warm drink inside. You're gonna get
"How
sick.
about your companions? Any gold for a poor beggar? Besides the 5 gold that he was just given? I'm still pretty poor, you know."
Okay,
I
well,
throw in the gold.
No.
I was gonna say Rexit's gonna pat down his pocket and give him some pocket lint, a button, and maybe a shiny rock.
I threw in a gold piece.
Bless you, bless you. Oh, and a button. I can use this to repair my clothing. Thank you. And he gives one last look at Glinfir riding atop his brilliant steed.
His unicorn.
Glinfir looks down self-consciously at the horse, and he digs in his money pouch, which you all would have noticed is a lot smaller than it is normally, and pulls out, pulls out a gold, throws it over to him.
Bless you, bless you. Oh, thank you so much. He turns and he goes to his satchel and he
I swear if that opens with more gold in there, I'm going to be so upset.
He starts counting the money as he's putting it in. 1, 2, 3, 4. And when he's done, he hikes the bag and puts it on his shoulder and says, I'm going to enjoy a nice warm bed, a hot meal, and plenty of drugs. And off he goes into the alleyway. Crazy old man. Bless his heart.
Good.
If it speeds up our travel, Rexit does have slum safety feature for expediting travel through the slums.
He does. Well, that would be great. Do you have to tell me, how does that work, Rexit?
Are you out of character or in character?
I suppose technically this is a mechanic question. How does that work? Is it just a thing you do?
According to what the feature says, it's I can enter the slums without risking harm to myself or any companions. You know your way through the place. You can lay low in the absence of a guild safe house or have a contact there who can arrange audiences.
Excellent. So, yes, it would seem that Rexit is taking the lead on your trip through the slums. As you make your way south through the slums, Rexit knows the best intersections to avoid for fear of pickpockets, brigands, or other ne'er-do-wells. And he knows what side streets are fit for a horse to travel through. And,
Hi, Senna.
Dang it, cat. And which pathways are the best for you to take to avoid any trouble on your way out of the city. After some time, you're still traveling through some steady rainfall. You do make it to the southern gateway of the city. The slums kind of dissipate behind you as you approach the gate. A lot of these houses near this gate are either in shambles, broken to pieces, just completely falling apart. Just all sorts of awful. The one thing that you have noticed is there's basically no guard presence here. And at the southern gateway, that holds true. As you approach the gates, and you've been through all of the gates in the city at some point or another, you do know that the southern gate is generally less staffed than the others. You just see a single pair of guards at this gate, and they don't really pay any mind as the three of you ride through on your magnificent horses, being led by a bulldog riding a bulldog. As you go for it.
I feel like I would know this even though Evan couldn't see it. Kantala is walled, right?
Yes.
Okay. All the way around, to our knowledge?
Yep. If you take a look at the map that we have up in Roll20 as well, you can see that some of the shore area is also walled off up towards the fort and the Skullhold. But pretty much the only ways into the city will be the different gateways through the docks, or if you really wanted to try and get creative, maybe through Aaron's Arm, but even the riverway is pretty well fortified and gated and guarded as well.
Okay. Thank you. You said single pair of guards.
Yep. As you pass through, the two of them kind of softly talk to one another. You don't see something like that every day. Is that a bulldog riding a bulldog? I don't think I've ever seen nothing like that.
We all hear that.
They thought they were being pretty stealthy, but really they were just loud whispering.
I mean, if this rain is as loud as you made it out to be, they were probably yelling.
It's a little calmer at this point. It's steady, but still pretty soft now.
Look, now we have a new circus performance, Rexit and this dog.
Yes. Hired.
Who's going to lead you guys as you travel south?
Glinfir will. And then I forgot last time we went out and about, but since he has the Outlander background, he has the Wanderer feature. So I have an excellent memory for maps and geography, can always recall the general layout of a terrain, and I'm really good at finding fresh food and water for me and 5 other people.
There are 1, 2, 3, 4 of us.
That's fewer than the total number of you.
I know. I did math.
It's doubly easy for Rexit. He eats pretty much anything.
I was going to say, he has at least 5 fingers still.
So, kind of as an aside to this, your memory for maps and the land features, is that places you've been or places that you've had the opportunity to study a detailed map?
For that, it would be a combination of, like, I have a good memory of maps for looking at maps in general, then also if I've ever gone through an area, I can remember where the I remember what the setting is around me, like specific rock structures and monuments and stuff like that.
Okay, different points of reference, more or less.
Yeah, points of reference, and I can always reference that to a map if I've seen a map of the area before.
Okay, that makes sense. Just kind of trying to get a feel for that. I know you've probably been out and about in and amongst some of the more forested areas surrounding Kintala, so you may have a rudimentary understanding of some of the topography and maybe some of the major landmarks that you've witnessed on a map. I don't know what first-hand experience you might have, but that certainly should come in handy as you guys venture forth.
Yeah, mainly it's the most recent one would be heading out, but I would have gone along the read the road real quick. Along the I don't know if that's an R have read road.
The Horned Road? Or Hounds Road?
Underneath Cherry Way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I see,
I
yeah.
would have gone along there and found a decent outcropping to mess around in.
Yeah, because I think that's where we ambushed the orc bandits before.
We were along West Way last time, so I went to a different area.
Yeah, you guys were kind of out in that about way, so...
So south way he would not have directly been to yet.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, you might have some information from studying maps and such, but we'll deal with that when it pops up. But you said that Glinfir might volunteer to lead the group. Do the rest of you have any objections to that?
No issue with the unicorn leading the group, but before we get too far, I feel like we should, decide, kill everybody, distraction and sneak behind from the back, Everybody
think-
sneak at night. What direction are we going for here?
First,
I feel like... Oh, that's okay.
I was going to say first we should probably scout their group and get a feel for how many they have. What's their armament? Is it like a typical guard setup, or do they have more weapons / more capable people since they are transporting a known spy? And make a plan from there. But for now, we have to consider if we capture them and don't kill everyone or prevent them from making it back to the city, we need to make sure they don't see us and know who we are in a crowd, because otherwise that'll make life hard.
I was gonna say that killing everyone, I think, would almost be suspicious. I don't know, I think we should avoid...
I'm thinking about walking a criminal back through that gate. Guards could walk him through a gate real easy. The best
We
way
can
to
easily.
be a guard is to, kill some guards.
But then we'd have to have the right number of people that they're expecting, know their names, know their habits in case they know anybody who are there. There's a lot of ways that plan could go wrong.
Yeah.
It would be best if we either smuggled them out or killed all the guards and took them there ourselves and just dressed him up as somebody else.
Regardless, it sounds like we need to go in with disguises.
Either way, we need to observe the group from a distance and also see how they organize themselves whenever they camp out at night, because that would probably be our best moment to do whatever we're planning on doing.
Alright, well, lead the way, woodsman.
I start trotting forwards. I cannot hear you, Bloop.
Oh, push to talk.
Push to talk. I would love for you to make a survival check for me, my dear friend Glinfir. Excellent, excellent. You haven't been here physically, but your apparent intimacy with regional maps has served you quite well as you make your way down the Southway Road. The road itself is pretty well marked. For the most part, there are some points along it that get a little harder to read or harder to follow. And given the fact that the rain was so hard earlier, it's washed out a lot of the roadway as well, making it more difficult to really easily track. But you, my friend, have quite handily proven your value at being able to navigate such conditions with minimal difficulty. Essentially, you are making way down the road with no real delay, short of maybe a little bit of reluctance by the horses or mulligan with the conditions. But you're able to make your way at a steady clip down from the southern gate. And after a couple of hours of a steady trek, you reach the forest's edge as the outskirts of the city fade away and the grasslands start to turn into scrubland, and the scrubland makes way to forest that starts to sprout up from the ground ahead of you.
Okay, while we're traveling, I just like to be on the lookout to see if there's any decent encroachments near the road, like a forest that's encroaching on it, or like large brushes and so on. That would be a decent ambush spot, just to mark it in the memory banks if we need a plan B for further down the area.
Okay. I would like you to make another Yeah, make another survival check for me.
Ugh.
That was
Not a-
stealth.
Oh, whoops. Yeah, it's the same bonus, but I'll roll again if I need to.
Oh,
One less.
I was actually going to say you could roll it with advantage, so we'll pretend that that's advantage. You got a 13 and a 12. As you're traveling, you do see a couple of spots that might make pretty handy spots to stash horses and maybe pop up at a later time, if need be. You're not 100% certain if it can accommodate horses and people, but you kind of make note of these locations as you're on your way down. There might be a couple of outstanding sections of trees that are ahead of the forest behind them, or some thick underbrush that's encroaching on the road. That might serve as a suitable jumping point as well. There will be plenty of time for you guys as you're traveling to further strategize or just chat. I mean, it's a couple hours at this point, and you don't necessarily know how far down the road the caravan might be at this point.
Well, in that case, I love a good chat. I'm gonna sort of have my horse go alongside Taya's and an infernal, maybe do a bit of gossip about the other members of our group and our dragonborn boss and the pretty blonde who's not with us. You know, just general gossip, because that's now our thing. But all in Infernal, so if these two are eavesdropping, they have no idea what we're saying.
When one of us learns Infernal,
not
it'll be
eavesdropping.
hilarious.
Evan, how are you sitting on your horse?
Like, just,
Normal?
Okay.
Just,
normal.
It's not like Western fancy lady side saddle. No, it's like a normal person.
Okay.
How else do you think I would sit on a horse?
I'm just double
Backwards.
You've got your feet in your stirrups, more or less.
Yeah. No, I'm doing a handstand the whole time.
You're an acrobatics guy. How are we supposed to know?
That would be cool. But no.
You could be practicing a new act.
I'm riding a horse like a normal person. And
The
gossiping
illusion
with
is complete.
my purple friend about boys and girls
So-
and dragons.
So, Evan, what was that about Silverscard?
Not to make a terrible pun, but he's hot.
Ugh.
Are you missing?
Boo!
I said not to make a terrible pun. I'm sure.
And
you're
then you did it.
The blonde one. Short one.
What's about-
Jujuberry?
Juniper.
Yeah, that.
Or as you lovingly call her, Half Pint.
Yeah. How do you know where she is?
We may have been hanging out and talking when we're not working together.
Just like hanging out and talking, or hanging and talking.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Just hanging out and talking.
Okay. I just wanted to know.
I think you know.
If you're gonna be distracted because you're missing her, then we should probably tell the others in the group.
I think I'll be okay.
We should maybe let them know that you're gonna distraction on your mind, so we should probably tell them.
No, I don't think we should.
Yeah, I think we should. I think we should switch to common, and I should tell them all about your distraction.
Why? Why would you do that? Do I need to mention Cinderscard? Are you distracted?
No, that's just for fun.
That's just for fun.
Yeah. It's fun. This is all fun, right? This is fun. This is fun. Killing people for money is fun. That's exactly what this is.
Yeah, definitely nothing else going on.
Nope. I'm gonna speed Oats up just a little bit. Away.
Watching you, circus man.
Make an animal handling check, my friend.
Y'all think that I'm so bad at animals, but I have a +3 in animal handling.
We let the dice determine that. Okay, you're pretty good. Hey, that could have gone the other way.
I could have, but it didn't.
Oats might be wet and tired, but Oats does not buckle and throw you or anything else when you speed up his gait to more of a trot. So, great job.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pass Glinfir. I just move in ahead of Taya.
You have great control over your horse. Also, even a blind guy can see Moonbeam.
Yeah.
Such a brilliant name.
I tell you, we're gonna figure out that Moon a unicorn.
I think if we ever play in person, Nuva's gonna actually bring pebbles. Or just throw his dice.
No.
Throw them at me?
Dice are too precious. Pebbles will be brought.
Okay, we'll be prepared.
Can we just make that Cheerios instead? It's safe and nutritious.
Throw them at me? Yeah.
Heart
Or
healthy.
popcorn would be a bit better. It's more inconspicuous when it hits you.
Does anyone else have anything else they would like to discuss or bring up en route? Otherwise, we'll skip ahead.
Glinfir would probably pop the question since he doesn't really know everyone too well. No, not that kind of question. Calm down.
You said
Glinfir, you shouldn't
Sorry.
have!
Well,
I got excited.
It's an expression that I use without. Okay, whatever. Anyway, he's going to ask, try and delve into everyone's background, see like where they come from, because he doesn't really know you guys at all.
What's that? Who are you asking first?
Probably the person who I don't pull pranks on, so I'll start with Rexit.
Oh.
Turn slightly in the saddle while we're riding and look over to Rexit. So, Rexit, what brings a goblin to a city like this?
I live here. I was born here. I think.
Do you have any memories of your family, or were you abandoned as a kid?
I was a house slave. It was fantastic.
Does Glinfir think that he's being sarcastic?
He's not.
Okay. Interesting. How long were you a house slave?
I have to figure out how old he was. Let me find my character sheet again.
Can the rest of us hear this conversation?
I'm not trying to be quiet about it.
Rexit would like pause as he does like mental math, and he holds up like 6 fingers, like that long.
Out of character, what is the view on slavery in Kintala? Like legal, illegal, legal but frowned upon. What's the?
It exists. I think it's less frowned upon depending on the servant, more or less. In this case, and Rexit will be able to expound on it more. In some situations, it's more like maybe indentured servitude more so than straight up slavery. I mean, it's the same thing, more or less. It's just a more tasteful way of putting it. It's not something that's common, especially amongst the middle to lower class. You would know at this point that it's something that's typically exclusive to some of the richer, most noble folks in Kantalan society.
As the way I wrote it for Rexit's background, if he shared this much information, it would be far less eloquent. But basically, for Rexit's background, he worked for a noble family, and the family basically owned a tribe of goblins. I never nailed down how many goblins they owned. They just owned an entire tribe. And this tribe of goblins that Rexit was a part of was basically their butler and house staff. They did gardening, they did cleaning, they did everything that the rich, snobby people needed them to do. And they were fed and cared for like dogs, basically, but...
Oh no, I feel really bad.
And Rexit's background is he basically rescued the master of the house from...
Glinfir, what was your question to him? Rexit, I'd love to expound on that, but I would certainly enjoy us to get that information out naturally as we play.
Mainly the questioning line he would have gone upon is background, if he's from the city or not. And then with the slavery portion, it's like, how long were you willing or not? And I guess now it's like, do you miss it?
He paused at it, but he's like, I don't remember a lot of it.
I kind of missed what you said there. You went a bit robotic.
Oh no!
You doing okay there, big?
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
No.
Not getting anything from you there, bud.
We're going to take a quick break for technical issues, and then we'll be back as soon as we get this sorted out. Thanks, everyone. We were punctual this time. We appreciate your patience.
Don't
all right.
Get used to it.
I know, right? So, Evan is busy getting a small campfire put together. Taya, what are you doing this whole time you're sitting around while Evan is slowly putting fire to kindling and twigs?
While he's drying out wood, I would be using the flint and... What is this? The
Flint and steel.
Flint and steel, and I'd be helping, actually start.
So you're actually physically lighting a fire using the dry wood he's prepared.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And stacking it so you know how air gets in and the whole, I don't know, stacking it nice so it burns.
Making a proper campfire.
Make a survival check.
You're building a teepee or...
Oh no. Survival.
You got this. You don't got this.
You keep trying for as long as Evan is drying wood. By the time he has all of the wood prepared, there is no fire ready. It's been probably about 25 minutes of Evan just putting fire to wood and drying it. and re-putting fire to wood and drying it more. And you have a nice sizable stack that conveniently is bone dry, covered up, and ready to go. But absolutely no fire to get started with.
So, I've started a fire before. I don't have an excuse for this.
It's okay. You're missing the half pint. I understand. You're heartbroken. I'll do it. I'm gonna stack the wood.
Clearly, you need to add firewood.
I'm gonna stack the wood and then use prestidigitation to start the campfire.
If anything works, it's always magic, and the fire starts like magic.
I mean,
You have probably enough fuel logs at this point to keep the fire going for a couple hours. Maybe till about 9, maybe 10 o'clock, as long as you have someone on hand to keep feeding the fire.
when does the sun go down here?
Well, it's cloudy and rainy, so it's already dark.
Okay.
And besides, you need warmth and mirth from a fire, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Don't be such a party pooper, Evan.
Mood lighting.
You poop on parties.
The blind person needs excellent mood lighting.
Of course.
Aesthetic.
Still see the aura of the light, right?
Yeah, actually, I could probably see the fire better than so I'm quite happy it's there. Because now I have some semblance of vision.
The two of you have a nice burning campfire. And the horse is hitched up nearby, not too far from you. If there's nothing we need to worry about with Evan and Taya at the moment, I will cut to our two scouty boys up the road.
Scouty boys!
Scout squad.
Right off the bat, I would like the two of you to make a stealth check.
Bleh.
Not bad.
Average.
Also not bad. Yeah, not bad. The two of you are moseying up the road, flanking each side of it. The rain is still slow, steady. At this point, it's almost turning to kind of a light drizzle as you work your way down the path. And the two of you continue down. I need to check the... Yeah, you can... Okay, Mask of the Wild. Yep, okay. Perfect. You don't really see anyone following the road at this point, just given the current weather of the day. What in particular are you looking for as you travel down the road this way, scouting it out?
Mainly just trying to keep an eye out to see if we do spot the guards in the distance, and also like any other travelers who look like they'd either be camping out nearby or heading towards the guards.
Look for
Okay.
smoke on the horizon, footprints in the mud, maybe disturbed animals in the distance.
And for me, I would be being on the side of the road, just like keeping to the edges of it where I can still see the road, but it's hard for the people on the road to see me.
Okay. I'd like the two of you to make separate survival checks as well. Rexit, since you're specifically looking for footprints... Glinfir, what is that? Since you're specifically looking for footprints in the mud, just go ahead and roll and we'll see where that goes. Ew. All right. Rexit, you're closer to the road as you're looking for footprints. You do see that there have been some people that have passed through recently enough that they left muddy footprints in the trail. The tracks are heading south the same way you guys are. This may or may not be a group of people who were traveling along the road in the same direction as you earlier today. But as you're looking at it, it just looks like a pair of people. Nothing that really screams out patrol of guards or anything out of the ordinary. Glinfir, I don't know what happened, man. But apparently you just are not in the zone tonight. You are
too busy planning out the next prank. I lose track of what I'm supposed to pay attention to.
Between that and trying to make sure that you stay just out of sight of the road, you forget to look for anything more than just staying hidden from anyone or anything that might come up or down the path in front of you. Beyond that, you don't really notice much. You're too busy lost in your own thoughts. After some time of traveling down, you do notice up ahead there is a small fire that has been set up along the road, a little ways into the brush, so not directly on the path. Small campfire, and huddled around it, you see two figures kind of bundled up in their cloaks, hunched down, with a cast iron pan suspended over the flame. It looks like and smells like they're currently cooking something.
Which side of the road did you say it was on?
It's on the left side, and they're probably about 40 to 50 feet away from the actual roadway.
Okay. Glinfir would have been on the right side, so that's all you, Rexit.
I mean, Rexit's going to tell Glinfir about the footprints and food.
Okay. Is it the guards?
Looked like travelers, just like us.
Evan, move your cat butt.
Sorry. Have some decency.
Thank you.
We should probably keep moving. I'll mark this as a potential spot to be careful of. Does Rexit still have his hat with him from the food smell?
Hat is probably hurt because it's still wet out, but it's probably with him.
Make an animal handling check, my good friend Rexit.
Although you do have a good point. We did find a nice dry cave. Raccoon might be like, nope.
Would you want Hat to come with you, or do you want Hat to stay behind?
I mean, he doesn't really... It's technically still a wild animal. It just follows him because he gives it food and stuff.
Okay. So, I repeat my question. Does Rexit want Hat with him, or would he have tried to direct Hat to stay at the camp?
I guess the better question is, if this is a cold rain, yeah, a warm raccoon in his shirt, that feels good.
Okay. And I'm sure the raccoon appreciates it as well.
Probably.
The scent of the food wafts down your way, even through the heavy, humid air. You can smell the scent of crisping bacon and grilled vegetables being pan roasted over a fire. And so can Hat. Hat smells that more acutely than you do. And the next thing you know, Hat comes crawling out of your jacket, squeezing out of the collar of your shirt, and sauntering his way, or its way. We don't really know Hat's particular persuasion.
Rexit's not bright enough
to know the difference, right? Hat starts wandering through the trees towards the campfire and the delicious smell.
I mean, Rexit's gonna go follow suit, like, whispering, like, no, Hat, no!
I'm sorry, raccoon named Hat keeps getting to me.
It's great.
I am going to roll a thing.
Roll a thing. Roll a thing.
Then I'm going to roll another thing.
2 things.
Well, the good news is that Hat gets right up next to the campfire, and neither of the cloaked figures notice the wild raccoon that just comes moseying lazily into their midst, right up next to the hot, warm, toasty fire, wringing his hands and grabbing at the air as if looking for whatever's making the delicious smell. And you arrive following behind Hat not long after. I'd like you to make a stealth check, please, Rexit. You just walk up, but no one's paying any attention to you either. And I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Concerned. I was going to say modestly concerned because he's not being stealthy, and neither was the Hat. So, like, do these people look like just dead?
How is Rexit going to approach them?
Hat's obviously in their midst now. Rexit is 20, 30 feet away.
Hell, at this point, you could be right next to him.
I guess he would be behind one figure and looking at the other one.
Anything in particular you want to do besides look, or just look?
I mean, I assume they're cloaked and hooded against the rain. Somebody must be poking the campfire to be making delicious food.
You would be correct. Are you going to make your presence known?
Not yet. He'll back off and come again from, like, he'll back off from being right behind them and approach from a different angle and, like, call out to them from, like, 15 feet away. It's like, travelers, may I share your fire?
The figure on the right of the pan suddenly stirs. Oh, geez. Who's out there?
Rexit will wave, like, hello!
Oh, you're a short one. Come closer. My eyes aren't so good in this dark.
Rexit will come closer.
Hey, is that a dog? What is that? You, are you a dog? How are you talking?
I'm a gob. I'm a goblin, but you can call me a dog.
Goblin. The hooded figure leans forward, and you can see, as they lean forward, the shadow of the campfire casts across their face, and it's the face of a dwarf with a thick mustache, a beard that's tucked under the clasp of their woolen cloak, which kind of puffs out under it, kind of making a bib of sorts on the lower half of their body. He's got one eye that kind of sticks out, bulging a little bit, and another one that's sunken down, slightly squinting. He says, a goblin? What are one of you doing along the southern roads? Are you here to steal our fire?
I'm looking for my hat.
Hat? You ain't wearing no hats.
Rexit will whistle and hopefully get Hat to come to him.
Make another animal handling check at disadvantage. You try and call to Hat, but Hat is too busy groping for whatever's in front of him over the fire. He doesn't seem to respond to your call. The figure continues. What's a goblin doing along the southern roads?
I'm looking for my hat. He's about to steal your food.
Oh, our food! He pulls out a stick, a walking stick, and he angrily jabs the figure next to him. Hey! Watch the food! There's a hat stealing... Wait a minute. There's a hat stealing our food? What? The other figure stirs a little bit, and he pulls the hood back, and it's another dwarf with an equally bushy beard and a bulgy right eye with a squinty left one. Huh?
Just Rexit's left. He's found, like, the two senile old dwarves.
What's this about a hat stealing our food? Who is this? What? Is that a gangrenous bulldog? You there. What are you looking for?
I'm here to retrieve my hat.
The two of them kind of exchange nervous looks, blinking haphazardly between their bulging eyes and squinty ones. I don't see no hats here.
Rexit will point to the campfire.
I don't see no hat in front of the fire. What are you getting at? They regard each other curiously. Is this a goblin prank? I don't know. I haven't seen one before. What are you getting at, goblin? Did you just want some of the bacon?
I wouldn't say no if you'd offer me some bacon, but my hat might steal it first.
Rexit, make another animal handling check for me.
At this point, it's just con man to the raccoon already heisting. My rolls are not with me today.
Apparently not. That's fine though, because the raccoon successfully pulls part of their dinner from out of the frying pan in front of them and starts to eat the bacon and some of the vegetables after kind of coming to sit next to you, reaches out a hand with a little bit of food in it, kind of holding it out to you, almost like an offering, as it were.
Well, thank you, Hat.
The two of you are nibbling gingerly on the food, and the two dwarves suddenly realize, huh, is that a raccoon? Where did that come from?
It's my hat.
Huh. Did you teach it to do that? That's impressive. Goblin, tell us, what business have you along the southern roads?
I told you I was looking for my hat. He smelled your food and ran off.
Well, that can't be the only reason you're here. Your hat is a creature of its own, isn't it? What brings you and your hat to this location?
Rexit would pause, and he's like, you know what? I don't remember. I think I was looking for something.
Well, seems you found something, huh? Why don't you spin us a story? We could use a little bit of good cheer between the rain. And one of them leans in, stares at the food in the pot. Losing half of our dinner? We could use a smile right around now couldn't we? Hey, brother.
Well, I must apologize for my hat's behavior. Your cooking is apparently very appealing, and Rexit will join them by the campfire, and I have some food to supplement what we still dig into his rations and basically share.
Now, is this fresh food?
Yes, he's probably wary of two dwarves stabbing him, so yeah, he'll share fresh food.
Excellent.
It's probably like hardtack or cheese, but it's fresh-ish.
They graciously take it, and the two of them say, a goblin freely sharing food with a dwarf. I'll break bread to that. They take the hunk of cheese, and they just throw it in the pot. Bacon, cheese, vegetables, it all goes down the same. And they start stirring it together. Thank you, Goblin. Should we call you Goblin?
My name is Rexit, but you can call me Rex.
Ah, Rex. Rex Goblin. And hat. Excellent. Strange dinner folk, but welcome folk nonetheless. My brother and I, we're traveling south, obviously. We're a little slow going, what with the old club foot and all. And he kind of taps his left leg with a violent prod of his open fist. And my brother, he's got the same club foot on the right. And eyes to match. We're a real pair. But the company, we have that with each other. No yawning, Evan.
Sorry.
What brings you to south?
Well, we're heading towards the southern province. There's some trading to be done there, and we've got family down there as well. We were hoping we'd be able to beat the... They both regard it the rain stops at this point. What providence? A strange goblin, a smelly hat, and the rain stops. And now we have cheese. It's a good night after all. We were hoping to get south to visit family. And peddle wares along the way.
You don't appear to be the trading sort, or am I just not seeing what you guys are peddling?
Aye, of course you don't see what we're peddling. It's because we don't have it for display. Not on the road.
Might I ask what you carry?
Well, we're not the sort to brag, but we make a mighty fine watch. Mighty fine pocket watches, as they were. Have you ever heard of a watch, Goblin?
What's a
Sorry, Rexit.
what is a watch?
The one of them reaches into their coat pocket and pulls out a shiny contraption that I'm assuming Rexit has never seen before in his life.
Probably not. I mean, an hourglass maybe, but
It's a newfangled contraption my brother and I have created. It tells the time, you see. Pushes a button on the top of it, spring-loaded. The face flips open and reveals the typical hand and face that we see nowadays. It says, see, the time is 3 in the morning. Hey, did you remember to wind this watch? The other one. Oh, why would I remember to wind the watch that's in your coat pocket? Well, I guess you have a point. What's your watch say? The other one pulls out a watch as well, hits the button. It's 8. 8 in the evening. Set your clock, you dope. And stuffs it in his pocket. We sell timed contraptions like these. New kind of technology that we discovered and that our family has been perfecting. Do you have a need for time, Goblin?
Rexit pauses to think about it. Maybe? Thought about it, really.
So, would you be interested in one?
Considering the shiny nature of it and mentioned it being new, I can probably not afford something like that.
Well, considering the cheese you brought to our campfire, we could probably part with one of these for 40 gold pieces.
Now I'm wondering, how shiny was this pocket watch?
Well, the one they pulled out, they each had different metals that they were made out of. One is golden and one is silver. But if you're interested, he continues, we have all sorts of different types of models, different makes. Maybe we can find something that fits your, he looks you up, eye bulging, particular aesthetic.
It would need to be very sturdy. I'm accident prone.
One of our child-proof watches, yes. Yes, we make something particular sturdy for the adventuring type. Are you with that there Gravedigger's lead?
I've met them, but no.
Ah, so you travel in similar circles. Gotcha. Okay. Well, they pull out a silver watch. This one's not true silver. It's a pseudo-silver, as it were. Just as shiny, just as brilliant, but infinitely more durable. You only need to wind it once a day. And of course, my brother and I are always happy to service our products if you bring it back to our shop. For you, this isn't one of our fancier models. We'll even part with it for 35 gold pieces. And that's a lifetime warranty that's attached to it. For one of your breeding, probably not as worth the money as a typical person's, but still useful all the same.
Rexit would be taken by the shiny new thing, but he He's gonna be like, hey, is that a good deal for something shiny and new?
Since you're doing insight to them trying to sell you something, they're a couple of merchants trying to push their wares. We're going to do a quick persuasion check. As far
I think
as
I
you can
lost that
tell,
conversation.
that is the best deal you've ever heard of in your life, ever, and you need one. Or you think you do. Whether or not you actually have the money for it, that's another deal, but I can't make the decision for you. But you think they're on the up and up, and you're pretty sure it's a great deal.
Unfortunately, I do have enough gold, so Rexit will hands down hand off 35 gold and be like, shiny watch, gimme, gimme.
This, my friend, is one of the smartest decisions you will ever make. If you ever need service, come back to Kintala. My brother and I, the Clockwork Brothers, will be sure to take care of your watch for you. Just be sure to remind us of the cheese and the hat, and I'm sure we'll be happy to take care of you.
It's been a pleasure meeting you.
Likewise, my friend, Rexit. As long as you want, our fire is warm and open to you.
Rexit's gonna pocket his new watch and wander off towards Glinfir and be like, I bought a watch.
From here,
You can, okay.
my friends, Glinfir,
Yes.
is there anything you would like to do while Rexit is buying his watch?
I was keeping at a distance, just watching him to make sure nothing went wrong with, random people seeing a goblin in the middle of the night. They might freak out and try to attack him, but once it seemed like he'd be okay, I backed up a little bit farther away, closer to the road, and waited it out.
If no one objects, I'm going to assume that Glinfir and Rexit will satisfy themselves with their scouting expedition, return to the campfire, and you all would take a rest from there. And if that's sufficient, I will be calling our game for the evening, and we will play again in 2 weeks' time.
Works for me.
Woo!
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me.
Thank you, everyone, from watching, and we will see you next time when we pick up from this location.
Bye,
See you
everyone.
next time. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.
Peace.
Bye.